Okay, I'm gonna nip this one in the bud. There's discussion came across the use of crimps versus the use of solder, and solder, of course, being better. So crimps. What I did was I did 2 test pieces. All right. Here's one with the crimp. This is a special kind of crimp. It has heat shrink ends, and the ends basically what they do is they have an adhesive, I believe, that ends up grabbing onto the jacket of the wire. So, you know, it makes a pretty decent connection. I crimped this really, really well. I put a lot more care in this crimp than most people would. This solder joint is the weakest solder joint that I could do. Basically, I took 2 wires, crammed them together end to end like that, so there's no twisting or anything like that to add to the strength. And so all of the strength in this solder joint is attributed to the solder, and that's it. Now, conductively, solder is better. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what you think. In terms of milliamperage, if you're going to have a loss, you're going to have a loss with the crimp joint. You're not going to have a loss with the solder joint, generally. And that's pretty much that's it. I mean, this is melted together. It's highly conductive. It's as if it were one wire, essentially. This is probably okay. However, there could be a loss through this. It's just a fact of life. You can argue it, doesn't matter. That's the way that it is. Also, a point of note, the end clasps that I made are soldered for strength. So anyway, so we're going to try the strength thing. I'm going to lift one of these stools with each and see if one gives way. Once I find a rope. I'll try this. Yeah, I had a rope right here somewhere. Oh. Try this guy. First, the crimp joint. These stools are about 15 pounds each. You know, and I know you're thinking, well, you know, you don't pull on electrical connections. Well, sometimes wires are pulled through. Sometimes they're manipulated, which makes the crimp weaker. But anyway, so here we go. It didn't even pick it up. That's not even as good as I thought it was going to be. And like I said, I took good care with this. It just wasn't strong enough. Pretty amazing. Alright, so there's that. It didn't, like, you know, wow. So now here's the soldered joint. Solder takes more effort to do. It'd be a real pain in the ass. Some places you can't even do it, like under a dash. It'd be dangerous to do it even, potentially, because you could potentially set your car on fire, I guess. But you can't beat the connection. It didn't break. My tie broke. I tie it tighter. To the point where it does break. If it breaks. So if anybody argues that a solder joint is not as good, that's a red flag. Not about the solder joint.